that rapid into justice. Hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice be 25. Girl, crazy. Crazy way to start July off. Today has been like, you could already feel, like, I felt, I don't know, because y'all already know I had ended up forgetting to put in Visual for last week. It was our grandson's first birthday on Friday. Um, Saturday, we went to Disney to celebrate his birthday. And that Sunday, I would have brought him to see my husband so that we could visit and celebrate his first birthday together. Um, how about this week? I'm like, I'm on top of it. Now, let me tell you, when I do expect the worst, people call me negative. But when I just say, you know what, everything's going to work out, everything is good, it's going to be all right, even though, crazy stuff happened. This is the next week. That wasn't like that was the last time I can go see him. Whenever you get to feeling like that, I promise you, something, something happens. It's like you just can't be positive for just wow, I should have just expected that. And then that statement there, I should have just expected that. When you say that out loud, people call you negative. Well, for me, I feel like I'm just reporting the truth. If you want to take it as negative, all I'm telling you is what usually always happens. And when I don't expect the worst to happen, I get the worst to happen. Girl, how about, and I already felt some type of way because of that. Then last night, y'all know I be riding out on YouTube. I'm trying to get back to my chosen one content. I'm stuck on injustices and stuff like that, but it takes a toll on your mental health because it's so crazy. It's so hard. It is so hard. And I know nothing is supposed to be easy. Nothing is easy, especially for myself. And that's just me being negative, y'all. You want to call me negative, call me negative. But I'm just trying to record this. I didn't do it on my video because I know the storage will go full as soon as I start explaining what happened. But the live just keeps stopping. It's probably pixelated because I keep seeing it end stream when it pushes try again or reload and end stream. That means your service ain't even connecting good. So it's probably very choppy, very pixelated, and you may not even get any content. But I'll go ahead and try to finish. There's a chance. Now, this is where you probably call me negative, but for me to keep recording through this means I have to have faith that I might get some content out of this. And the content might make some type of difference, right? So I'm going to push through. I'm going to overcome this obstacle. That's not negative. That's very much positive. To push past the circumstances. But people are going to report it as negative because you relay what is really happening. Okay, so back to the story. Last night I was watching my YouTube like I usually do, trying to get back to Chosen One and more spiritual YouTube and stuff like that. I realized I had fell back a little bit from reading my Bible. Like I was doing real good with that, and I got to get back to that. Like literally, I'm getting off track, getting out of alignment, getting wrapped up in injustices. Now, the thing is that I get so passionate about injustices happening, but it does take a toll on your mental health and your spiritual health because you're like, they can't. I mean, they pose as though they're doing good. They're do-gooders. They're perfect. They sit on the lap of God, but they're clearly just violating people, hurting people, destroying people's lives, and just not caring and doing it in the name of we're the good guys and stuff like that. Like I'm so sick of seeing so much injustice. Slowly but surely keeping us quiet. We're not getting nowhere. So it's really difficult. But yeah, so you virtually can't do anything. And then the people that are supposed to bring justice, where you think the injustice is coming from? So what you gonna tell them on themselves or something? Like literally. So I was watching something about as I was cleaning up, watching this video about alligator Alcatraz. Like that is so disheartening. I literally don't have no faith in this, which I shouldn't anyway. Even if they were doing the right thing, you're still not supposed to have faith in no system or nothing like that. But if I had a small amount of faith in them, that just destroyed it. Like literally, it's like I promise you, they have think tanks on how can we destroy not only just families, but people's lives and just communities and just make it so they can never recover and then put it all up under the blanket of keeping you safe. Like, girl. So that had me in my feelings before I went to sleep. I was watching that, which I gotta get away from that. I mean, I don't know. It does bother me, all the injustices. But I know we're supposed to fight against it, but at what point when you can't achieve justice, you just keep shadow boxing. Like that's what I'm doing, shadow boxing it. So they kind of put me in the wrong mindset going to sleep or whatever. Get up today, I said, you know what? Mm-mm. Before I even touch my phone, we finna go back to reading the Bible. So I didn't read it today. I was listening to the verses read out loud as I'm showering through the Bluetooth. I'm playing my little music, my order my steps. Yes, order my steps in your word. And what's the other one I'm listening to right now? I surrender all. I came to the realization that the attack that I'm having on my time, like I told you in the other video, is because I gotta surrender my time to the Most High, to God. He is going to redeem the time in my life, right? So I'm in the right mindset. I'm not even wanting to go to work like that because y'all know my tornness over working and not getting nowhere. Like, but I wasn't even in that mentality. I'm like, I can get through this, and I'm building up my spirit, and I'm feeling good. I get through work. Now I did cut my darn finger like down to the down to the freaking white meat, like right before it was time for me to go home. But other than that, the whole day was really good. Like I got through the day. I checked the analytics on my lunch break. My channel getting a little bit of watch time. I'm getting a little bit of. So I'm like, I'm having a good day. Had me a little good salad, girl. I need to put that in a community page. That salad was bussin'. Y'all, bussin' is back in style. But that salad was bussin', girl. Okay, so I'm getting off, and I'm like, what we gonna do afterwards? My grandson, we never did do his cake for his first birthday with the family, because you got to celebrate with your incarcerated loved one, and you also got to celebrate with them. So it's like when you families of hold on. If you ain't never seen me before, girl, I'm Cadillac. I'm the OG prison wife. I have been a prison wife for the last 23 plus years because my husband is wrongfully incarcerated in the state of Florida. I have spent these last 23 plus years in my life. I am 44. So this is half of my life I have spent being a prison one, a wife one, and being a advocate trying to break my husband's wrongful conviction story just so our family can be back together again as a regular functioning family, right? But because nothing I've done has taken flight, we're living life, together apart. And right now, my husband has on the books 12 more years of his wrongful 40-year um, wrongful conviction. With gain time, I don't know exactly how much might come off of that, but if he continues to get gain time, then it could be at least a decade instead of 12 years. But what's the difference, girl, at this point? So we're just thinking we're gonna have to just survive it because nothing I'm doing is working. I ain't broke his story in since the days of MySpace. So, and I know that's because you're so negative. You ain't even got to say it. I already know. Many people have already told me that. And I beg to differ. I don't feel like it's because I'm negative. I just feel like because this whole system is rigged up. It's not made for truth. It's not made to break truth. So this is why I'm having such a difficult time. Now, if I was out there shaking my behind or doing ratchet stuff, or I would clearly have a platform. But because I'm trying to break my husband's wrongful conviction and help others, it's gonna be super hard for me. So you celebrate, twice. So with your incarcerated loved one, and then with your family at home, right? You're trying to be a family, but it's distance, time, space between you. So I'm like, are we gonna get the kids and we gonna cut his cake? And this is when the baby put their face all in the cake or whatever, turning 1 years old. And looking forward to getting off and just spending the time with my family. I get to the parking garage. I call my daughter. I'm like, okay, so what we gonna do about the cake? And she's like, Mom, somebody text me and I they were like, your daddy is not there at the facility no more. He is at Florida State. I'm like, what? Now, Florida State Prison. So, okay, they get words out. So most likely somebody done called their loved one. He done told them to call their loved one and then, get in touch with his loved one to let them know that he's not there anymore. So I'm thinking he's right up the road. Marcello now have been in town like maybe 30 minutes away on the highway, 35 minutes away on the highway for the last year. Now, anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. He was 30 minutes away. So Florida State is 2 hours and 18 minutes. It said at that point from where I was. Oh, wait. Yeah. So it's not. It's going to be about 3 hours. That's because I was Googling it the time from work. So he's even further away. He's going to be a good 3 hours away. Wow. Back to this. So she's like, somebody had texted me and said your dad is not at where he was at it's called Central Florida. Yeah, Central Florida Reception Center, something like that. So he was right up the road, right? But I guess because it is a reception center, people come and go all the time. All right. Well, I'm like, I gotta be calm because I know what I'm hearing. But like I said, prison wise, you can't overreact because it's like you gotta take this like a champ. You just gotta take the blows. It's always gonna be some disappointment. It's always gonna be something like for real. So I try to keep myself calm and not even almost like, oh, okay, well, that's how it is. It's almost like you get to the point where you just always just expect nonsense and the worst. You just expect it because it's part of this life. And when it does happen, just I mean, you just have to learn to deal with it, right? Because there's going to be a lot of BS on this road, a whole bunch of it. And I've been here before. He's been at Florida State Prison before. That's actually where he was. That's where he was released from in 2020. But at that time, he was on close management. And then when he was supposed to get off of close management, like this is literally like a max facility. This is maximum security facility. And that's why also like, why is he in the max facility? So I'm trying to take this all in. Like, it was crazy back then when he was in max. So when 2020, when he was supposed to be transferred back home, he did his max time, but he couldn't be transferred back home because it was the shutdown. And when they finally transferred him, they say the one facility that doesn't have, the stuff was way up on the Florida, Alabama, Georgia line, 7 hours from where I live. And that's where I drove way out to that countryside and where they accused me and tried to wrongfully arrest me as I was visiting my husband who's wrongfully incarcerated. Like, does this get any better? Does How do you make the plot thicker in my life story? Like literally. But I don't even want to ask because it'll be a surprise. It'll be one of them pop surprises you don't expect in the storyline. So I'm like, why is he there? Because that means he could be on when you're sent there at that time. It was because he was doing max time and he was on close management. So I'm like, okay, this is where you can't let it bother you because I have another video where I didn't know what was going on with my husband. He was just saying how a guard was messing with him and this and that. And then all of a sudden I don't hear from him. Like we had his pat that, look, we talk all the time. I don't hear from you day one, day two. Okay, now it's time to inquire what's going on. Don't give it too much time in between, but you can't overreact because there are things that happen. They could be on lockdown. It could be this. It could be that. The phone could be broke. Like that happens many times. So you can't overreact, but you can't cut too much slack. Oh, that rhyming! I wasn't even trying, girl. So I'm like, okay, we can't clear off the it's still my grandson's first birthday. We still need to do his cake. I can't be all sad and depressed. I can't be in my feelings. Like, we have to, you know, and those are the things you have to learn to control being a prison wife. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy always having to wear a smile when you're really just breaking down inside. People can't understand you anyway. Like, it doesn't help talking to people because they don't get it. They think you just with a criminal, like you can't do no better, girl. You can't find nobody free. Like they be asking me, you can't find nobody free. Um, but yeah. So I calmly get off the phone with her and I Google and I literally had to download the maps because it was not working. And that's when it said that it was 2 hours and 18 minutes away that he is. And then I had to, y'all know how I say I don't like to look up my husband like in DOC. I do not like to search him because that's where I see these bogus charges they got him in prison for wrongfully. And that's when I see that ugly release date. But we are closer to the end of that ugly release date. But think about when my husband was wrongfully incarcerated in 2002. And he's gotten game time. So now his release date is 2038. Think about how that used to open wounds when I would Google his name and look at his release date. But so you got to do it to find out where he at. And as soon as I do, I see that he is at Florida State Prison. He's back there. So then I'm like, well, is he in trouble? What is his custody level? So his custody is medium. So I'm like, so that doesn't even add up. Why is he in a max prison, but he's medium custody? And it says it on there has their confinement status. I've never seen that before. It didn't used to say whether they were in confinement or not. I don't know if that's an update and don't know how long ago because I hate Googling that. So I really don't know. I haven't Googled him in a long time. But it said he's not in confinement. So he's not in confinement. He's medium custody because if something had happened to send him to max security prison, then his custody level would have been upped. So he's still medium custody. And so I'm like, maybe it's just because he's at a reception center. So I'm formulating all these things in my mind. And then I'm expecting, and what's crazy, I just talked to him yesterday. So I'm like, when the heck did they transform? Like, transfer him? I literally just talked to him, just told him that I set up the visitation, just told him that, guess what, it's a 3-day visitation. And then, you know, so we were going to make up this week for last week missing. Make plans. That's what people tell you. Plan. Make your plans. You gotta have goals. Girl, ugh. So I'm already like, well, I guess I'm not gonna speak to him because I don't understand what's happening. He's in the max. Before, when he was in the max, he couldn't talk for like a month on the phone, and then they got like one phone call every 2 weeks. And if I just missed a call, I missed a call because I do work, I do have a life, and can't sit by the phone like that. Um, so I'm expecting to not really hear from him, but as soon as I got ready to do this video recapping what happened, he called. So I do have that where he explains what happened that he doesn't know. They just transferred him, like him and 32 other people. He really think it was the permanents because he is in a reception center and it turns over. But there were permanent residents there. Like he was in classes, he was visiting every day, like every weekend, which is good because, okay, when our granddaughter was born, he was way up, 7 hours away. So her first year of life, he literally seen her like 2 to 3 times. And then that's when they banned me and laughed at me and told me to get out of here and said it's indefinitely. You ain't gonna see him no more as long as he's wrongfully incarcerated. Well, they didn't acknowledge that he's wrongfully incarcerated, but they were like, as long as he's in DLC, you ain't finna see him because we are terminating your visits indefinitely, and laughed at me as I walked away crying. So after that, literally couldn't go up there to I did one time just stay in a hotel. I drove with my daughter because I didn't want her on the road by herself. We drove up there. I had to stay in a hotel. I do have those vlogs, but I could not go and visit. And even just dropping her off at the prison brought back so many flashbacks. Um, so he's seen her like 3 times in her first year of life. Our grandson, when our daughter was pregnant, like the end of her pregnancy, he was transferred from way up there, 7 hours away, and surprise, I'm right 30 minutes away from you. And so he got to visit and see her while she was pregnant. He did not see our daughter pregnant with our granddaughter at all. And then he seen our grandson like when he was a baby and hold her like every other week or so, seeing him. So his whole first life, he got to visit with him. Um, our daughter, my husband was snatched out of our life when our daughter was 9 months old. Well, really 2 months old. I had just got off of bed rest. That's when my husband was wrongfully arrested. And by 9 months, he lost his rigged up trial. And so he was out on bond and he was building a bond with our daughter. And at 9 months old, he was snatched out of her life. So from 9 months, and she's 24 now, she just celebrated her birthday. He raised her together through prison visits all over the backwoods of this freaking darn state of Florida. So he wasn't even present the our daughter's whole first year. Our granddaughter, he missed her childbirth. You know, he missed our grandson's childbirth too, because he would have sure been there at the hospital. But our granddaughter, he only seen like 3 times in the first year. Grandson got to visit like every other week or so with him because I would alternate the kids and stuff. So that's a blessing. I have to look at it like that. That you know, though I'm okay for y'all that love the bright side, at least. And I hate saying these things because then that's when that stuff happens. Oh, God forbid, though. At least he's not way back up there 7 hours away. But he's not next to home no more. It's going to be challenging to go see him. My car is not equipped to do no 3 hour drive there, 3 hour drive back. Every time you think you're out of the woods with that. And then I remember the last time going to visit him up there during this 2020, y'all, I worked overnight. I used to have to get on the road, like literally, what did I get off at? At like 12? Wait, no. Oh, wait, that before we went overnight? I think I got off at 4 a.m. I would sleep in the parking lot and then get on the road. And I would have to get back in enough time because I was in school for graphic design. I would have projects due. I would literally stay up all night, sleep in a chair so that I don't oversleep. And then I would have to do internship. I gotta draw my life that I can link in the description box of how hectic that was. And going to visit him at this facility he's at now. And it would be times that because I did start work at that time, it was 8:30 p.m. By the time I would get off the road, which you run into traffic trying to come from visitation, so 3 hours away, get off the road, hit traffic, and then have to start work. It was many times I didn't even get sleep, and I had to work through the night, overnight. So it was way too much. It's a burden, but we do it because we love our loved ones. Like literally, we're gonna do whatever we can. Like how I said, if they put my husband on the moon, be like, girl, can I ride with you up to the moon? You got your spacesuit, girl. Where you get your spacesuit from? Like we gonna figure it out. But it's just the wear and tear. You literally do time with your husband, though you did not do the crime. You know that little irritating cliche. Don't do the time if you can't do the. Oh wait, hold on. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Don't do the time if you didn't do the crime. Like literally, but don't do the crime if you can't do the time. But there's many people ain't did no crime, but they still doing time. Like girl. Anyways, I don't know if any of this even recorded, but it is what it is. And I had a whole nother video I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that alligator Alcatraz. I wanted to talk about that. And then it was another one. Let me see. I had screenshotted because I'm so sick of people's blind faith in this ish, this fake justice, illusion of justice. It's the vice versa. Like Pastor Troy, if heaven was hell and vice versa, if I told you go to heaven, would you say I cursed you? Like everything is inverted. So justice is actually injustice, and injustice is justice. So when you ask for justice, you get injustice. I don't see it. It's probably on the other one. But if I can remember, it was from Danny Collins. Y'all know I love Danny Collins. He's a formerly incarcerated citizen that did time, and now he's sober and he is advocating and fighting for criminal justice reform. So he made this whole video. Whenever I do my description box, I'll put it in the description box for you. Hopefully I do it tonight, girl. If my little granddaughter ain't all on my neck and stuff. But he was talking about how really the system really is rigged up against BLK men, and how he used to think that was just a cop out, that it was just an excuse for them to do whatever they do and then don't want to take accountability. But he was talking about how he did not realize until he actually, I don't know, it's just something that someone said that took him aback. He was like, look, you, this your third time getting out and you just keep coming back. I haven't got my first time to get out. And his charges were lesser severe. And of course, he got more time because BOK men get 3 to 4 times more time in prison than those of any other nationality, especially YT. And the thing is that you can get out 2 and 3 times and come back to your family before that person gets out once. My husband was thrown away at age, what was he? He was 19 when he was wrongfully arrested. By 20, he was thrown away. Sentenced to 40 years. 40 years for an alleged robbery of $80. And the reason I say that is because they allege my husband robbed 2 people of $80. And when my husband was searched and he was not found with $80, but he was found with 60, they said that they meant 60, but they wrote 80 because they were so shaken up. The alleged, the not the alleged, the actual arresting officer allegedly gave back their sworn affidavits and told them to cross out 80 and write in 60 so that it can align and that the money can match. The judge himself said, no, that ain't even, You can't charge him with robbery. The money ain't the same. And the state went on to say, but he tried to rob him. He tried. So he says, okay, you could pick it up as attempted. And they stacked all these charges on an attempted robbery of $60. They applied a weapon to it that they never recovered. Nobody hurt, nobody pout, nobody injured. The money don't align, no fingerprints, no DNA, no nothing. And yet the judge said, I want to give him life, but just so he has a second chance of life, I will only give him 40 years. And here we are, still counting down. So, yeah. But people's blind faith in this system, it just irks me. Like, I wish you really knew how it was. I wish you really knew what it does to people. I wish you really knew, but you don't know until you actually step in those shoes. I did not know. I completely believed in it and would have defended it as well and have defended it. But once your eyes are open, you know. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead on and go. I could be saying this all for nothing if it didn't record. All right. Hiss your girl, Cadillac. Oh, wait. Hold on. Cadillac be getting off track. I do it in another video, girl, but I was just trying to tell you about the thing. So I went off on that rant. The girl was, so Danny Collins was talking about how this system really is rigged up against BLK men, and it is strategically, what they're doing to. And then I said, yes, it was strategic to take our fathers, break our families. This is all alleged for entertainment purposes. They strategically broke our families, took our fathers, and this is why we're like basically single mother homes like this, right? All of this was strategically designed this way. And someone commented, yeah, that excuses what happened back then, but what about the man now? And I'm like, if you strategically break up families, allegedly, strategically take fathers out the house, allegedly, it causes trauma. It causes dysfunction. It causes these things that are happening now. And it gets passed on because it never can be addressed because we're gaslit to believe that it's not happening. It is y'all. It is not the system. It is y'all. So it's not really happening. It is us. So we beat ourselves up to be better, but never perceived as better. Never address the issues. We're just gaslit to believe it doesn't happen. So it just gets passed on to the next generation. And the next generation has to deal with that trauma plus the added trauma. And then they pass that on. That's trouble exponentially passed on to the now generation. So why the men are the way they are now? I call it reverse engineering. This was the desired effect. This is how they wanted it to be, allegedly. They reverse engineered this to be the way it is. And I don't know, people just can't put two and two together, and it irritates my soul. Like, I don't know. But I was going to talk about that. But now I'm in my feelings. All right. Here's your girl, Cadillac.